Hotep, and welcome once again to Community Cop. My name is Noel Leader, one of the co-founder members of 100 Blacks in Law Enforcement Who Care. I'm here once again with my three co-hosts. First of all, Julian Harper.
Welcome, welcome.
As always. Second of all, Michael Graves, a.k.a. Big Mike.
Namaste.
And of course, the great Father Lucas.
Hotep.
And we have in our audience, of course, Eric Josie and Fred Eiffel. The brothers always holding it down. And we'd like to welcome you, our listening audience, and let you know, those watching for the first time, this is a live broadcast. In approximately 25-30 minutes, we'll open up our lines, give you the opportunity to call in and share in the conversation. But please, when you call, when you hear us on your receiver, you have to turn down your TV. There's a slight delay. And because our phone lines are always filled, we have to delete you if you don't talk to us very quickly. So once you call and you hear our voice on the telephone, just turn down your TV so we can have you join in on the conversation. Right away, we have a lot of issues we want to talk about, but we first want to talk about a press conference that was held yesterday by members of the Freedom Party, headed by Charles Barron, who's running for governor. This press conference took place in front of Brooklyn Borough Hall, and it was the launching of the Freedom Party and announcing some of the goals and aspirations of the party. Let's look at our candidate for governor, Charles Barron, as he delivers our message. And we'll be right back.
Freedom Party! Freedom Party! Freedom Party! Freedom Party! We came here today for several reasons. One, to say that there's more than two candidates in the race. The Freedom Party has a candidate. Cuomo wanted an all-white slate. He got that. Now he wants an all-white debate. He's not getting that. That's right. We're here to say that we are here to stay. We've shown 43,000 people, strong support. 43,000 people supported our candidacy. We are on the ballot officially. Palladino only got 25,000 signatures. He's in the debate, and Cuomo got none. So we have to say that we're not going to sit back and allow that to happen. Also, the Freedom Party today is saying to the state that we can do something about transportation. That transportation, they say they don't believe in taxes, but when it comes to raising the transit fare, that's a tax on poor working class families. Raising college tuition, that's a tax on families. Raising the clothing tax, that's a tax. Everybody but the rich. Freedom Party is saying that we're going to put together a plan so that we can get to lowering the transportation fare and perhaps eliminating it, and showing where the money can come from. How do we get there? We have a gentleman with us, he's nonpartisan, but did an independent study on the transportation fare. He's going to come before you. But these are the issues that the Freedom Party will be standing for. We know that if we do a PIT surcharge, a personal income tax surcharge, on those who are making $300,000, that happened already. $250,000 to $300,000, 1.5%, and that generated $4 billion projected. It actually generated $3.2 billion. They didn't go all the way up. Had they followed the advice of some of us in the state, and when you got to 500,000, 2.5%, 1 million, 3.5%, when you get to 10 million, 5.5%, you can generate anywhere from 8 to 12 billion dollars, and then dedicate 3 billion of that to lowering the transit fare. That's what they receive through the fare, $3 billion when you look at the fare. So we are going to further explore that fare. We have a gentleman here who could explain more, and then we're going to discuss some of the future plans of the Freedom Party, and we're going to discuss how Cuomo and Palladino should not be options for our community. They were missing in action for us. That's right. And now we should be missing in action for them on November 2nd. Cuomo nor Palladino did anything for the black community. And what they're trying to do is make it seem like they are worlds apart. They're very similar on policy, very different on personality. Cuomo hides away from the media.
That's right.
Palladino thrives in the media. Palladino is a racist, loose cannon that called the President of the United States a pimp and the First Lady a prostitute. But his racism or bigotry is quite obvious.
Right.
But benign neglect by Cuomo is another form of racism.
That's right.
When you have 50% black male unemployment, hear nothing from Cuomo. When you have stop and frisk to the tune of 500,000–600,000 innocent people, we hear nothing from Cuomo. When you have foreclosures that he helped facilitate when he was the HUD secretary because of his incompetency, we hear nothing from Cuomo. So Cuomo comes to Harlem 36 days before the election. Now he wants to talk to black people in Harlem 36 days before the election. We're not having it. We're not going to fall for, we have to vote for the lesser of two evils. Right. We're not voting for any evil anymore. We have an option. The Freedom Party is a...
All right, that's candidate Charles Barron. And, you know, of course, we'll get some of your comments from my three co-panelists. But I think it's preposterous of those people who would suggest that a vote for Charles Barron is hurting somehow the Democratic Party because, you know, people would take votes from Cuomo. But anyway, some of the comments before we talk on that stuff, some of the comments, some of your suggestions, Mike, we'll start with you, of what Charles Barron stated.
Well, first of all, from the outset, Charles Barron comes in the tradition of Frederick Douglass, because those who were a part of the radical Reconstruction, the first thing they did when they came into power as legislators were to make education free. The first thing they did was to make everything around them, all the things that they were initially being charged for, made those things that were part of the government free. So Charles comes in a great tradition of strong black men who were in Congress, who were state legislators. So he's coming in a great tradition. So I have to commend him. I also commend him on his brilliance and his analysis to see that there are no substantial differences between Palladino and Cuomo. One is out front, and you can see it, similar to a Giuliani, and the other one, Cuomo, is just the same way. He is just as racist, is just not out front, in your face, Jerry Springer style. So I commend him on his analysis. Now, Charles Barron, as I said last week, is the best candidate, bar none. If he is allowed to debate them on the level of ideas, he will show that he is twice the candidate that either of them are, and he will show them to be the empty suits that they are. Charles Barron not only knows how to approve a budget, clear a budget, and knows where to cut at, where to enhance, and has the sensitivity to understand the bosom interests of those who are not in the position to speak for themselves. So I have to commend Charles for his heart, for his dexterity, for his continued commitment to our people.
And Father, you know, there's, of course, some suggest that both Palladino and Cuomo is going to attempt to keep Charles Barron out of the debate.
Well, I don't blame them, because he swapped them. You know, as Mike started, it seems to me that Palladino will be our Giuliani and Cuomo is our Mike Bloomberg. Same policies, right, different styles. What is so important here that if any working class, middle class, are serious about their own interests, they have no other choice but to vote for Charles Barron. And of course, in that category, black and Latinos suffer even worse. So why would anybody, if you're in the working class, you're middle class, hoping to be middle class, how could you possibly consider, well, Palladino is just a joke, a cruel joke, an evil joke, but how could you possibly consider a Cuomo in relationship to Charlie Barron, unless your racism, your whiteness, blind your eyes to your own self-interest?
As it relates to our community, Cuomo, he's not even promising us anything. He has done nothing for us in the past. He's not even promised to do anything for us in the future. Why would anybody, as Father stated, even consider a Cuomo? And the okie doke is, as Michael correctly stated, the imagery is to project as if they're really different, but policy-wise, both of them are the same.
You know, it's important that people start to look and vote and analyze this in their best interest. Unfortunately, you know, people who have the tendency to run with the Democratic Party who has been failing our community for a very long time. Cuomo is not even capable of articulating in any way, form, or fashion how he's going to assist our community in his position as governor if he wins. If anyone takes the opportunity to listen to Charles Barron and listen to the points that he makes relative to the MTA, relative to education, and all the issues that are malaffecting our community in its totality, they would have to vote for Charles Barron. But unfortunately, because so many people are blinded by the cloak of the Democratic Party, they have a tendency to have an allegiance to the Democratic Party, but in reality, that allegiance is going to fail them in the long run.
And just to follow up, the black elected officials that were out there with Andrew Cuomo yesterday, they should be ashamed of themselves because they've already aligned themselves with a man who consistently has shown he has no love and no respect for the black and Latino community. Not only did Charles point it out accurately, he has an all-white slate, but he allowed 675,000 stops of blacks and Latinos to occur and said nothing about it. Now, just in case he didn't know, we brought it to his attention. We met with his highest staff, we met with all of them, and brought that to their attention. They claimed they would look into it. We gave them a plethora of information, more than they even really wanted. We gave it to them, and yet there was nothing to date, and we did that close to a year ago. Nothing to date of substance has come out of the Attorney General's office to show in any way that he's nothing more than an empty suit. If he was serious about his business as an AG, NYPD would be in trouble for those 675 stops. They would be in trouble for the brutal slaying of police officer Omar Edwards. But they can still run around and do whatever they want to do. Kelly is not afraid of the Attorney General. He's not afraid of Cuomo as governor. As a matter of fact, this is why the Mayor Bloomberg endorsed Cuomo, because he has said nothing about what's going on with the black community as it relates to the police department. So, and also the governor in waiting, as he perceives himself to be, Andrew Cuomo, he brought on not only a former police commissioner from Buffalo, but a serious union buster who made it clear that he's going to be hard on unions. So that means that, as Father Lucas pointed out, the middle class is going to be in trouble. Those who are aspiring to be in the middle class are going to be in trouble. So you got two guys where you on the one hand, you think the Republican Party are the union busters, but Cuomo